Hey guys, this is a quick tour of my sanctuary settlement build. I say quick as it can be. So obviously we've got the main bridge leading in. Now this is on PS4, so the mods are quite boring and there's a lot running, so prepare to see the frame rate tip an absolute battering. So coming in, we've got quite an intimidating entryway, and that's because in this playthrough I've made the Minutemen very kind of militarized nightmare dictator kind of basically what you wouldn't want the Minutemen to be. So it's a bit of a Roman Legion theme, not like the Legion of New Vegas. Unfortunately we haven't got them running around in their Centurion's armour, but it's very martial, a lot of corporal punishment, a lot of capital punishment, people getting killed for the smallest things, and basically they work non-stop just to keep themselves alive. So I'll shut up, let's carry on and have a look. So coming in, should be guards here, but they're probably stood on the roof somewhere doing nothing or complaining that they have to sleep outside. So you come into the through the walls, so we've got nice guard lookouts up here. Again, nowhere to be seen though. Now, this invisible guy who's currently in the stocks, he's probably done something he shouldn't have. Now here we've got these poor deserters who've been caught up with. You leave the 13th Legion Minutemen, the bounty hunters are sent out, they bring you back, and wasteland justice is served. So they're a stark warning to other people who are thinking of leaving with all the Gucci kit they've been given, not to. So when you come in, you should have a guard stood here. It'll take your details, I'll try to make sure you're not a synth or a raider in disguise, and that you belong here, and then you're let on through. Now this build it's messy as fuck. It's not pretty, it's not glamorous or cool and gadgety. I've seen a lot of builds, you know, they really are, they're awesome. The amount of attention and detail that people have put into them, and they look so good. I mean, forget the wasteland, they look good even by our standards of living to live in. I didn't want to make that, I wanted it to look horrible. So like I said, it's quite Roman themed in that the actual place itself, I mean, it's a maze, and apparently that's what ancient Rome was like. It sprung up so quickly that it was basically just a mess. It was almost impossible to navigate after dark. It was dangerous. So that's pretty much what I tried to go for here, just a labyrinth of places, some doubling back on themselves, some going nowhere. I just wanted it to seem like this was a settlement built for 20, maybe 30 people, and then, you know, it gets a name for itself as a good trading outpost, safe place with high walls and lots of machine gun turrets, and the next thing you know you've got hundreds of refugees streaming in and the place just can't cope with it. So you've got the concrete structures and then all these shitty wooden shacks popping up everywhere, bolt-ons that look really unsafe and really, personally, I think apocalyptic. So that's kind of the vibe I was going here. So I know it doesn't look good, I mean, to be honest, it's not a cop-out, that is the look I wanted. I wanted it to look messy. So you come up the main ramp, and first of all we've got Juice's Gym, where fitness never rests. You want to stay strong, you know, you want to stay fit, how else are you going to survive the wasteland? So you've got a nice weights area downstairs. They're good, they're putting their weights back at least. If you can't put them back, you shouldn't lift them up. We had a lot of steroids on this surgical tray, but they've fallen through the counter, because obviously this is Fallout 4. And ironically, only the buff out remains, but the ones that actually look like needles are gone. I'm told this is something called cardio or cardio. I don't really know what that is, so if any of you know, let me know in the comments. A nice little gym, you know. Happy work, hard work is happy work, and that's really what we're going for here. I mean, this place is, you know, this is like a nightmare. It's pseudo-communism. It's kind of everyone's in it together, but really this is all about making money. So my character, the general, he's rigged it up so it's this utopian sort of paradise where as long as you work hard you can have a safe and happy life, but really it's the moment you're too old to work or you're too injured, you're gone. And that's where we've got these leeches who set up little workers insurance stall. You pay in and you know, you get half your foot or your toes chopped off with a garden hoe. You get paid out so you're not booted out onto the into the wasteland. We've got barracks here, nothing special, just guards barracks where they all sleep, kitted out. Now outside above the barracks we've got bonds and bounties where top prices are paid for raider scalps. So, you know, I don't want raiders hanging around and mooching around the walls. I'm happy to pay good prices if you bring me in raider scalps. Hopefully they are raiders, that the scalps that are being brought in, but if you've ever read Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy, you know when there's money being paid for scalps, some innocent people are gonna die. And that's just life, I guess. So behind the gym we've got, you know, guard walkways. They can keep a good eye out. Nice southwesterly view, you campus enthusiasts will note. And then as we come round going into the settlement, we had what was once a shop is now Little Wanderers School, so kind of a daycare classroom. I mean, you know, children of the future, we need to indoctrinate them young and make sure they know that the general is there for them. So we've got a nice little library area, story time area, it's, you know, essential. Personally I'd rather sit on the floor, bring back old school memories. Now we're getting them indoctrinated nice and young. The Minutemen are the heroes here, so we've got, you know, who to look out for. Then we've got Caution Corner, getting them wary and who to look out for out in the wastes. So we've got the Rad Junkies, the Disciples and the Goggle Boys. Now every day, every morning they come in, they swear this oath. I mean, this is right out of Stalin's playbook, so that's giving you a vibe of the type of thing we got going here. It's agree with us or you're gonna die. But, you know, you need a hard rule. So we've got a little factory here pumping out the all the armour, the clothing, helmets, everything we need to keep the settlement running. The factory workers' quarters, one of these horrible, shitty, unsafe wooden shacks that defies gravity by how high it goes with such thin walls.
Yes?
This is young Tropical Bob who runs, believe it or not, a tropical themed bar. So yeah, again, nothing special, purely just somewhere where they can sleep. You know, and that's it really. They're there to work, they're not there for good times. So once we go up here, this is actually bonds and bounties, the office. So we've got, you know, his desk, his safe where he keeps the loot. And what else does he need? A utility sink to wash the raider scalps. And that's it, that's pretty much all he needs. So as we come out, keep those guards, keep the trigger fingers ready. Got a nice little firing range. All the kit you'd need to hone your marksman skills. Now this is usually where the game crashes, so this could be a mistake because it hates these pressure plates. But you jump on, and way to go. Lovely.
Trying to get someone killed?
Oh, and they're all complaining now because I'm shooting. There we are. So,
yes.
If we go up further, got some more unsafe shack housing with unsupported balconies, which are always a great recommendation from any architect. And these are the lower area kind of.
Should be a fine day for a walk.
I don't want to use the word scum or peasants, but we'll say serfs. This is where they live. I mean, these are a bit more high end. You know, they've got paintings in them, and let's be honest, I'm sure you would as well, but I'd pay more to sleep in a dingy wooden shack if it had a painted of a lake or a lighthouse in it. As we go up, we've got the artillery station. Now, they're obviously they're firing off uranium, depleted uranium shells. So they've got gas masks on. They're also wearing marine armour, which is hydraulically supported, which, you know, helping them lift those heavy shells. We don't want them straining their back and workplace insurance claims going in.
My feet hurt. Everything
So
hurts.
this is one of the entrances into the bunkhouse, which is an absolute dump. It is exactly as it says on the tin. It's a house with bunks and a really low end, desperate for travel, little cooking area up here, but that's about it. So if we come back down, and I know this is very maze like. Oh, manners. You obviously didn't learn to wait. Oh, I should have waited. Actually, I shouldn't have that attitude. It's
A lot
sexist.
of people out there that could use a hand.
It's very maze like I said. So as we come up through here, we've got the marketplace. Little gun shack connected to the main shop in here.
You gotta take things one day.
It's sort of like a slum area where the unemployed hang out, just sitting there drinking Nuka-Cola or smoking Jet.
You know what?
As we come into the marketplace,
I'm feeling swell.
we've got tons of guns.
Look at the two of
That's what it
us
says on the
here
tin.
in sanctuary,
The junk hunk.
prepared for
So
the
this
future.
chap, particularly unpleasant character, he employs desperate refugees to go out into the wilds and search for valuable junk. Desk fans, I'm looking at you. And then he pays them in food and a pittance to bring them back to Sanctuary and break them down outside. We've got testudo armor. There's all the things you need to stay alive when someone's shooting a fat man at you. No face, no case, plastic surgery. So if you've committed some horrible gangland stabbing in Diamond City, you can come here, get a new face, and it's back to square one. Curl up and die, obviously, a hairdresser. Now this woman clicks. She's not a synth, because I've shot her several times and reloaded, and she's definitely not a synth. But she clicks. Oh, she's disappeared. It's not a generator under the floor, because I've lifted it up, and it follows her. So it's definitely her. She's clicking. This is Jet, the two of us.
So where are we off to next?
Selling you all your 2170s or whatever year it is drugs do you need to survive the depression. Deb's threads. For some reason everyone who dresses nice looks like someone out of the Great Gatsby in Fallout. And then you've got Kate's little bar, Murphy's. I don't know how she's got an Irish accent. It doesn't make any sense.
Just to make sure everyone filled out there.
So yeah, that's the marketplace. Nice little trading emporium. I hate that guy. I wish he'd shut up. We've got Ronnie's Liquors, where Friday night is Ghouls Night.
All this walking's wearing me out.
Disco ball on the go. Little chill out area where they can come and drink their sorrows away after working a 16-hour day and injuring themselves. So there he is. The man whose clothes can't be swapped. The bane of my life. Everyone here is very uniform. If you live in Sanctuary, you wear a uniform unless you're a doctor or a trader, and Ronnie doesn't. And it is the bane of my life. So this is the lower level of the bunkhouse.
The person that asked me to shag is getting a well-placed kick.
Again, simply just beds, no dividers. This one's quite parent friendly. You know, if you have a child, bring your child here. Why not? I certainly wouldn't put it that way, but I guess you can if you really want to. Further on, we've got this kind of, it's still kind of a marketplace, but it's a trading area. It's where more unofficial sales take place. We've got our little guard tower looking up to the north, back up to a vault. And like I said, we've got our trading area down here. Now in here we've got the gambling needs seen to. We've got all your scrapping, improvements, chem station. Little notice board.
You're from the Commonwealth, right?
Now this lady, she's a doctor, as seen by her white armour. We've got this poor bastard who's trying to find his kid. Illiterate, obviously. I'd run away if my dad spelt like that as well.
Ain't looking for trouble.
Little apartment for rent along with a market stall. Now, here we have our hospital, where they will fix you up, and if they can't fix you, die happy knowing that your spouse can sell your kidneys and make some money.
Never look a trapper in the eyes.
We've got a lot of chems, etc. Now we did have surgical trays on top of all these tables with scalpels and bone saws. You name it, they were on there. And then obviously, because this Fallout 4, they all disappeared through the floor. This is the operating room, where you can be a good doctor, have a shit, come in, wash your hands, and then cut someone open on a filthy mattress. So that's our little hospital. There we are. The remnants of what's fallen to the floor. Now, if hospital treatment doesn't go well, we've got the Undertaker's conveniently next door, where he's making coffins for people who presumably shrink 2 feet once they die, because they're all about 3 foot long. Now, here we've got angels. Now there's some signs throughout the settlement advertising this salubrious establishment. Now these young ladies carrying out the oldest profession in the world. They want to work here. It's empowering, they say, but they've got bomb collars on, so if they try and leave, old Hancock, who owns Angels, will see to it that they don't get very far. And there he is, in his spiv suit with his metal baseball bat, running his brothel. We got all the junk and the jet they need to get through the day, and there we have it, where the action happens. So that's Angels, the family-run, friendly brothel. Going upstairs from there, you come here. We've got the Minuteman control room where they can monitor Preston desperately calling for help all over the place. Manned, listening out for some place that needs your help, which will have all either died or will have sorted out themselves by the time you get there.
Who do you think actually
This is the pre-combat staging area for the 8th Scout Legion. But as soon as something goes wrong, they can kit up, get in their power armor, and they're ready to go. Fat Man flamers, super sledges, everything. Now, that's quite a wide set of body armor, and I know they can fit down the stairs in the game, but to be law friendly, once they're kitted up and they need to deploy fast, rather than precariously trying to get down the stairs, they can just drop out and they're ready for action. So you've got kind of like a little dropship door going on. Totally pointless, but just a bit more law friendly. Now, we'll go this way. He's a legend, so he's got to have it. We've got Valentines Branch at Sanctuary. There's one of Valentine's private dicks, investigating the corner of the wall vigilantly. Fair play to him. So, you know, we've got your standard detective's office. Camera, filing cabinets, computer, cigar on the floor, cigar on the desk, cigarette on the desk, newspaper, the works. But it wouldn't be Valentine's if he didn't have his locked, secret, cold case room, where he dwells on the one case he couldn't solve. You notice the overturned photo frame, where he can no longer look at his wife, who for Nick Valentine is presumably a Mr. Handy with a wig on, where he dwells over the murder of Anne Rice, killed in Diamond City by Willie Turner, the Nightingale. He's presumably exhumed her corpse, some duplicitous reason. He's examining it and sawing it. And like I said, he comes in here when he's off hours, when his Mr. Handy wife is begging him to leave that case alone and come to bed, and he can't. So inside here, we've got, these are new builds. These are some of the shacks I was saying have been sprung up due to desperation for living space with the rapidly swelling population. People's safety and standards is not a concern for the general. He just wants people in here. If he can count on them to work, they can live here and they can pay their way, and he's laughing. But they don't all live in squalor. I mean, these buildings here, they're quite luxury apartments. And if you've got the money and you're allowed up, you can come up to the Sun Lounge, where you can get away from the stink of the rotting deserter bodies and God knows what else, and just enjoy yourself. Do a bit of training, have a sunbathe, just get away from it, and bask in this glorious gamma ray sun. And that's the how the rich try and stay up, away from the filth. So back down towards the trading stalls. People get out the way on the stairs.
Farm's not much, but it's
We've got a farm. Like I say, I think we've currently got about 70 to 80 people living here. It's going to take a lot of upkeep. So this is where we come out to the farm. We've got my third in command, guarding our most valuable resource, the food. So Dance is making sure this farmer's not stealing. Now these people, they work long, horrible, shitty hours, dangerous, lots of injuries, and it's all to keep this place running. So do we pay them more? No. Do we give them nice places to live? No. We go with this USSR style, little bit of gratitude. So every time they feel like stealing as many carrots as they can carry and running away, they look at that and it motivates them to carry on working themselves to death. So they can wash their carrots, they can put them in boxes, and then they can put them on the shelf. Because I know for a fact in any post-apocalyptic scenario, there's one thing you need, is carrots. We've got more guns, heavy guns. They live quite a sad life. They stand up on there all day and then they sleep in here. But, you know, that's the life they choose. They know what comes with it. And at least they get to wear a gas mask and sweltering heat all day. So as we come back down, we've got the farmers' food area. And farmers make up the bulk of our population. There's usually about 25 of them here. I don't know where everyone is. But we want to make money here, so we've got all the advertising going on. So Jet, the two of us, are offering good discount. We've got our workers' insurance, and obviously Angel's brothel ready to skim whatever earnings the farmers have got. More workers' insurance. You work or you die. A stark message, but an important one. So these are all the lucky people who actually get to live in Sanctuary. Only so many people can get in. So the people who are unlucky enough, shall we say,
I gave up alcohol after settling down.
they've formed almost a unofficial camp outside the walls. I mean, this is the end of Sanctuary here. This is the secondary back gate. Outside here, it's still Sanctuary, but you're not getting the protection of the lockable doors and gates and the mines and the artillery, etc. You're more on your own. So we've got a Minutemen office with see-through walls, which looks horrendous. I don't think the PS4 was invented for it to be this big. So when you're getting these desperate refugees coming in, they've got no prospects. The Minutemen can get you to sign up, and you can have some food and some clothes, and then you can go out into the wasteland and kill everyone who doesn't agree with us. Now, I'm quite proud of this because I have looked for hours and hours, days probably, for a mod for PS4 that puts a gallows in. They're in the game because you've got the hanging bodies outside Hangman's Alley, so they are there, but there is no way that I found to hang someone on Fallout 4. So I went for the next best thing, which, I mean, from a distance, it's okay, it's not great, but it was literally the best I could do. So I stole food, I stole freedom. So this is one farmer whose the propaganda obviously didn't work for. So what I did, trapdoor, just anything to weigh it down. So we've gone for a weapon there. Operator's animatronic mannequin, the wire glitch to a basketball hoop. So like I said, it isn't great, but it was the best thing I could come up with for a gallows. So I'm quite happy with it because I couldn't find one anywhere else. Now, come along to Coward's Wall. So the farmers who, you know, carry out such an abhorrent crime like stealing food, they're hung and they're left there to rot. The soldiers of the Minutemen 13th Legion, we've got what is or was once upon a time a human being and a more intact human being, and they are Private Dale Tate, who was shot and then decapitated post-mortem, stripped and displayed at the wall until he rots completely, which is going quite well, to be honest. And then we've also got Major Mary Young, who was ordered the retreat of the 8th Scout Company of the 13th Legion. Shot but not decapitated post-mortem, and she's left clothed. So obviously what she did was unacceptable for the 13th Legion. Retreat is not an option, but it was insurmountable odds, completely outnumbered. So she's just left in her clothes for some dignity and left with a head. And she's not to be there for rotting. she's there until her unit redeems themselves. Sort of pride. Hopefully now the 8th Scout Company will go back out into the wasteland and do something heroic so that their beloved Major can be buried with honour. Now, under the Minutemen office, we have the Junk Hunks Breakers Yard. So this is where, like I said, the chap who owns the marketplace stall gets all his junk delivered to, and then he pays poor refugees a few pieces of carrot or maybe a bottle cap or two a day to break down junk so he can make a huge profit selling it to me to make my buildings. So these are the guard posts coming outside. Got a good overview of the wasteland coming from the Red Rocket truck stop direction. We've got refugees here farming. She shouldn't be out here because she's not a refugee, she's in uniform. There we are. She's happily farming that delicious concrete out of the floor. She's been spotted now and she's embarrassed. So the refugee camp, refugees must register as soon as they arrive so they can be logged and put into the monthly lottery to join Sanctuary if they meet the criteria. I mean, the inside of Sanctuary is an absolute dump, but this place is just a shithole. The rooftops are missing, there's holes in the walls. I mean, it's a real sort of, yeah, it's what you'd imagine a post-apocalyptic refugee camp to look like. Oh, and it's got see-through walls, which is great. Coming back over here, we've got, this is a jet den where these addicts, they meet up after work, come inside, chill out, put a bit of Dion and the Wanderers or one of the other 3 songs on the game on, and just chill out to some Jet.
You just say the word.
Now, Piper's actually my love interest in this game, and rather than sleep in my luxury apartment, high up above the stench, she chooses to sleep out here in that bed. Now, I'm hoping she hasn't got an addiction that I don't know about, or maybe she's doing an expose for a paper where she lives the life of these poor drug-addled refugees. I don't know, but like I said, she sleeps outside this, farming that delicious wood for everyone to have. So inside here we've got a nice sniper tower, we've got a nice good bit of elevation, see out into the wasteland, and we've got items that haven't fallen through tables on the floor, so it's a miracle. Got a nice view, see pretty much all the way, even past Red Rocket, down into Concord. Got a dog and a rad stag, but I'm not interested in them. So yep, that's our sniper tower. Now, all these refugees arriving is obviously problematic because the place wasn't built for housing that many people, and the guards, they guard sanctuaries, citizens. So we've got a police station set up for people who do naughty things. So inside we've got our officers' chairs, desks, our 2 cells. The teacher from Little Wanderers is in the cell, so
That place is nothing but
there's no custody sergeant here, so she's obviously handed herself in, so maybe she's got a guilty conscience about something she did. I knew I shouldn't have employed Mrs. Saville as a teacher. If they jump out the window or try to escape, yeah, a nice surprise, and they land and impale themselves. And that's our little police station. So, as mentioned earlier, even though he's not here for obvious reasons, we've got Tropical Bob's. If you're not a fan of Ronnie's Liquors, if it's a bit too hectic and busy for you in there, you can come and just chill out in the tropical goodness of Tropical Bob's. Green grass, gorilla chairs, and a great song that isn't actually that good. But the best thing about this place, it's got one thing that nowhere else in the wasteland has: a swimming pool. Now, have any chlorine to clean the water, but who needs that when you've got blue light bulbs underwater with exposed electrics to make the water look clean? So you can come to Tropical Bob's, you don't have to drink, you can, you know, get a bit of health and fitness done, sunbathe, and then go for a nice dip in the pool. So unfortunately he's not there, but he's decked out in his air captain's hat and his pants, and his tropical necklace. Coming over then, we've got the fisherman's huts. You know, you can tell they're fishermen because they're by the water and there's fish in baskets. But these guys eke out a living fishing these radioactive fish out of these 4 inches of water. And obviously there's a cat looking for fish. And then they leave the fish exposed to the elements in buckets to rot, which I can't imagine being a very fruitful endeavour as a business, but people can't get enough of it apparently, so they fish away their days and sleep in. I mean, I think this is probably the worst way to sleep imaginable. It's not just in the sleeping bag, but on a hill. I mean, you could just move it off the hill, but no, they won't have it. They like sleeping on the hills. So that's the refugee area of Sanctuary. Definitely the lowest people on the pecking order, bless them. We'll go have a look at the highest part of society here. So I wanted it to be law friendly, but I also wanted a little bit of luxury because, I mean, I built the place, I deserve it. I'm a dictator. What's the point of having all the money you can imagine and all the guns and people under your power and command if you can't have a bit of luxury? So to keep it law friendly, I had my good settlers trek up to Vault 111 and dig out a nice chunk of Vault-Tec goodness and trawl it, bring it back to Sanctuary. God knows how they did it. Maybe they cut down loads of trees and rolled it down like you saw the ancient Egyptians with the pyramids, but bless them, they got it here for me. So up here we have my nice apartment. It's nothing amazing. I don't think you can become a military dictator unless you're obsessed with guns, and that's pretty much all this apartment is. I don't know why you're in here. This hairdresser is... I can hear a man talking but can't see him. So she's in here for some reason. So yeah, I mean, nothing says military dictator like a throne literally gilded in gold whilst my people starve in their smelly, shitty township below. Got my own bed, which thanks to a mod they won't sleep in. My own special power armor, which you can tell is special, and I'm in charge because it's got a red helmet, just like the Ultramarines, except I actually do stuff and I'm not a pussy. Got my nice Brahmin skin sofa. It's a bit gauche, but I like it, it's my style. And yeah, just a nice place to get away, enjoy the mahogany laminate, and get away from all the stinking peasants who I have lordship over. Coming down then, we have the more upscale apartments. Now these may be your high-end businessmen or your upper middle class perhaps. Maybe your doctors, or maybe the plastic surgery. Maybe she owns and lives in one of these apartments. I mean, you have all the money you want in Sanctuary, but regardless you still have to shit out in the open or in front of your spouse or loved one regardless. So this has got a bit of a 60s vibe going to it, you know. Nice place to live. Not bad. Next door then, a bit more of a conservative vibe going on. You can tell from the picture of the tilled wheat in the barn. No. Again, just a nice little place to live compared to the shacks that most people have to live in. So that's pretty much it for the tour. Like I said, it's not clean, you know. It's not by any means sort of meant to be one of these incredible sort of builds that, you know, look absolutely amazing or look like something we'd be envious to live in today. It's basic as it comes, but it's well defended. It's got a nice military vibe to it. Everyone seems miserable as hell, and it's one of those places where you work yourself to death just to spend money and chuck it back into the place where you bought the stuff from to begin with. Through before this ends at long last. These are the defences of Sanctuary. Now, in a bit of a cop out, these should fire emergency flares, they call them Minutemen, but every time I try doing it, the game would just crash, so I've taken them out. So just imagine big red flares shooting up into the sky repeatedly, kind of like the dropships of Starship Troopers, because they fire at a very fast rate. But an enemy comes along and trips this wire, We've got a full lockdown. Flamethrowers go off eventually. So as they rush in to get in, the roller doors come down, and then after about 45 seconds, the flamethrowers go off. So they can stay and get cooked, or they can run. And like I said, there should be flares going off, which allows the Minutemen to come with their laser muskets and then stand around and do nothing and not leave, and then ask if they missed all the fun. But yeah, like I said, a very messy build, meant to look as real as it could really get. I mean, you know, it's a revamp on the Minutemen. It's kind of an evil dictatorship where you want to live in the safest place in the world. You sell your freedom at the door, and then you work yourself into a coffin made by the Undertaker with really bad spatial awareness. Let me know what you guys think. Any criticisms, constructive comments, welcome, or even non-constructive ones, because I don't really give a fuck because it's a game. Let me know what you think, guys. Thanks.